What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Welcome to today's Cable News Craziness, where we take a look at some of the craziness that takes place on cable news. Today, we're going to the MSNBC Weekend Wasteland, where Alex Witt interviews Dan Rather, of all people. Roll it.
Dan, how confident are you that every single vote in Texas will be counted?
Well, you can never be confident of that in Texas. Texas has a long history, as do a lot of other states. There are people in this state who know how to cheat. There are people who know how to steal votes. Now, whether that will actually occur or not, but we always have to be alert to it. You know, one of the great Senate races of all time was the 1948 race in which Lyndon Johnson won by fewer than 100 votes. No one can be confident that all votes are going to be counted. I will say this, though. I think it's very important for everybody, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or bugwump, whatever they may be, that overall in the main, that we maintain confidence in the integrity of the votes. Will every vote be counted? Probably not. Will some votes be stolen? Will some elections in certain sections be open to question? Yes. But it's really important that we understand that there are literally hundreds of thousands of people involved in our election process. And in the end, I am confident we will know who got the most votes. So that means on vote day, on Tuesday, we may not, what's used to be called election, I prefer to call it last voting day. It may be hours, it may be days, it may be weeks before we finally, or it's determined who won and who lost. Once it is determined that somebody won and somebody lost, then the critical hour comes whether the losing side will accept it or not. Frankly, I have my doubts, but let's be patient, hold steady, and hold on to hope.
Now, there is a lot wrong with the modern American news media. There's no question about that. But one of the issues that I always have with them is how they revere Dan Rather, a completely failed newsman. You may not recall this, but Dan Rather was fired from his job because he decided that his political leanings were more important than telling people what was going on. And I know that sounds crazy because we basically see that everywhere now, but back in those days, 2004, they were supposed to hide it. They're not doing it now, but they were supposed to then, and he tried to pin a ridiculous story about George W. Bush shirking his responsibility with the National Guard. It was false. It blew up in his face. We got this whole false but accurate thing. And then months later, after he was disgraced and ran out of town, they gave him a journalism award. They started rebuilding his reputation. And here he is, right before another election, going after another Republican candidate and alleging that if that candidate wins, it's fraud. Now, these are the same people, Dan Rather does it right here in this same conversation, who will tell you that we have to accept the results of the election, that we have to understand that sometimes things don't go the way we want them to. And that's true. There's no question about it. But does it really sound like these individuals are ready to accept that? Alex Witt and Dan Rather? No, of course not. They are making excuses. If he wins Texas, Donald Trump that is, then it must be fraud and theft and a big scam. It couldn't possibly be that people in Texas agree more with Donald Trump. So we're laying out a whole bunch of excuses if the unlikely does happen. Now, I've said this before, and I will say it again. I think Joe Biden wins this election. But there is a path for Donald Trump, and for people in the American news media to be creating these scenarios that if Donald Trump somehow wins, it's by hook or by crook. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes the American people, maybe they just think differently than the folks do in New York City and Washington, D.C. And you know what? That's okay. The American media may not like it, and that's okay. Maybe the message here is that you guys have been going on and on and on for well over 4 years about what a terrible monster this guy is, and the race is still close. Maybe you're the problem. Maybe you're out of touch, and maybe you should start realizing that and working some of that into your coverage, that maybe you just don't get it. Maybe you're the ones who are wrong, but you won't. That's never going to happen because they are irredeemable at this point. They think that they're right, and if anything happens that they don't want, it's, of course, a giant conspiracy theory. We've seen that for the last 4 years as well. So we'll bring you new clips every single day because they'll keep creating them. So like, subscribe, and follow us right here. Leave a comment as well, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here, and this is my son, Grant. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. He's a handful, I'm a handful, and if I want to stay married, I need Top Shelf Customized Cleaning to come and take care of my house. They do an amazing job for me, and they'll do an amazing job for you. Cindy loves them. I love them. Grant loves them as well. Check them out on Facebook. Top Shelf Customized Cleaning. And don't forget, call them today, 256-417-9122. And when you talk to them, make sure you tell them Grant sent you.